That's wonderful.
And of course, Baba, the highest of the high.
Rest of the high. Baba is the one
Hey,
who gives us. Jai Baba Kartik
Jai Baba, Avatar, Meher Baba ki Jai.
ki
So
jai.
let's start with the seven realities. Ashok ji, why don't you start it?
Yeah, yeah. Avatar, Meher Baba ki Jai. The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. One, the only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. Two, the only real love is a love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. Three, the only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even life itself, are sacrificed. Four, the only real renunciation is that which abandons, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. Five, the only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. 6. The only real control is the discipline of senses, to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. 7. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and in the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Avatar Meher Baba ki
Avatar,
jai.
Meher Baba ki Jai. Thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get into session number 21. And of course, the book we are reading is Manifesting by Bhau. We ended on page 131 last weekend, and we pick up action from that point on. So good to see you again, Jay Chandra and Ravi Garu. Let's get started. Avatar
Sir.
Meher Baba
Jai Baba.
ki Jai.
Jai. Jai Baba Chandra Garu.
Jai Baba, Ravi Garu,
Jai
and
Baba.
everyone.
We both
Jai
are
Baba.
from Illinois, Kartik.
Yeah, you mentioned, yes. Yes. Good to have you both. Okay. Serving both God and man. Where love manifests, there is no self. In the manifestation of divine love, self has no existence. The existence of the illusory false self is an adversary to love. Love does not permit the self to enter into its domain. Love burns the limitations of the self, and when the self is consumed, eternal freedom is achieved. Eternal freedom is the domain of love. The limitations of the false self keep one bound in illusion, but the fire of divine love gradually frees one from all bindings. The false self is the creation of illusion, while love is the creation of truth. The false self lives through illusions, while love lives by truth. In the path of truth, there is the manifestation of love, and without love for the avatar or the perfect master, God realization can never be achieved. This love is the gift of God through the personal form of the avatar or the perfect master, and the purpose of human individualized consciousness is to receive this gift and to become one with God. Therefore, once human form has been attained, it is necessary to love God in order to fulfill the purpose of the human form. The best way of loving God is to love the avatar or perfect master who is the personification of God. Love for the avatar or perfect master has to spring naturally since it cannot be taught. One is not taught how to love a friend. He loves his friend, and the friend in return is not taught how to love him. His love for a friend springs up naturally. Love for the one who is the personification of God should be as natural, and we should love this person who is God because he is the one friend, because he is the one friend who perfectly loves us. God, in the personification of the avatar and perfect master, is always present. Even when the avatar is not physically present, he has not left us. He is always with us. We do not always experience this because our hearts forget him. It is a pity that mankind forgets about the personification of God, the avatar, who returns to earth again and again. The one God who exists in illusion is that personification in the form of the avatar or perfect master. Once human form has been achieved, it is our duty to find the personification of God and love him as naturally as one would love his dearest friend. To love the personification of God requires and sincerity. And because he is the ultimate friend, one learns to live for him and to die for him. The most practical way of loving God in a personal way is to render selfless service to our fellow beings with love. In true selfless service, there is no self interest or thought of self gain. And this service can only be given through that love personified in the God man.
Let's take a break, Karthik.
Yeah, let's take a break. Sure.
So much information is there. I
Yeah,
think we need to fathom, we need to understand and
sure.
little bit. Okay.
Sure.
So when you go to the first paragraph, is this first paragraph? Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So we are an illusion, right? In the illusion, and we feel I am this body, I am this mind. That's how we all feel. And I say, hello, Karthik, hello, Jay Chandra, hello, Ashok, thinking that you are a separate person. That separateness there in us. So, but love is the unity, right? Oneness. But as long as we have this mind, we have that separationness. But how do we get this love? So that the divine love consumes this eternal freedom. How can we achieve that eternal freedom? That is the question, right? And we are so fortunate to be under the guidance of our Guru, the avatar, the God man, the God who has taken up the human form. How fortunate we are. And I think it takes many, many lifetimes for us to be loving God and also to lead a truthful life. I think those both aspects gives us a qualification for Avatar to pick us up, to pick us
Absolutely.
and give his love. Now, what he did was he put us in a highway. We are in the forest searching, what is the goal? What is my path? What is my goal? That is how we have been searching. We are going through a lot of suffering. We are going through a lot of amusements, satisfaction, happy, pleasures, and also suffering and excruciating things, all these things. And our pendulum has gone this way and that way and that way, this way. Finally, we got vexed with all this. Now we have come to a point. We need to get out of this. We need to experience that blissful state of our real self. Now, Baba, what by giving us a love, giving us his love, putting a seed of love in us, he put us in a highway that leads to ends in that seventh plane or in his plane in the world of reality. Now, if we just love Baba, is that enough? We're all loving Baba, right? But why? How come
Yeah.
we are not able to get there? That is the question I would like to put it out so that we can think about it and talk about it. That's what he's talking about here.
Yeah. So, a quick reaction to why it's not the same for everybody. I think
Hmm.
that's fairly simple, right? So that's that. I mean, I'm not trying to uh, trivializing it, but I think the difference is our speed of progress, our individual journeys, and our strength of the veil, strength of the dust on the mirror. All of those differences that are there. That's the only reason, right? But just yesterday, I think the other three of us will remember. Yesterday, we were reading how the the Baba is pushing out love to all of creation. That's the role, that's the job he has taken on, and that's I mean, I would almost say burden, and that's what he does during his advent. But it is up to us and our sanskaric makeup to be able to A, access, B, recognize, and then three, embrace and love him. So it's there. So I'm reminded of that newsletter from California, from one of the Baba groups. It's called Love is in the Air. So it's actually in the air. It's
Hmm.
and it's a FM channel that's live. You just have to
Hmm.
tune into that frequency to be able to get it. And like you said, not
Hmm.
all of us can get it. Some of them are gifted. And by the fact that we are all connected to him already, at least when I speak for the four of us, that itself is a great blessing,
Hmm.
right? Any others,
Very good.
Ashokji?
Very good. Good response.
Yeah,
I'm
as
not,
you
I'm
rightly
not
put,
judging, but
uh, uh, as you rightly put it, it is basically different strokes for different folks, is what I remember. It all depends on the intensity or the power with which your own radio, that is your own self soul, is tuning in into that uh, abundance of love, divine love which is there. It is up to your intensity, your power, and your desire to receive his learnings and blessings, and as you rightly said, to embrace, to implement. It's one is to come in the fold, second is to learn, which we are doing in these readings, and third is to really implement and and have that intense desire. Like we had taken a example of a person who's in the desert and searching for water.
Yes.
So that intensity is required. That is what is, and that, and you live the messages, whether it is certain realities or how to love God, or there are so many messages given in in simple uh, words. I think that's going to be our that should be our goal now. But
Absolutely.
having said that,
Good,
and
good,
not
Ashok.
not
Good,
not
good.
shirking your worldly responsibilities. You have to also have a balance between what you have to do, your responsibilities, worldly responsibilities, and at the same time move step by step towards the goal of receiving his love. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what I
yeah.
can say.
Very good. Jayachandra
It's
garu, చెప్పండి.
Stephanie.
Mhm.
Yeah,
పోనీ,
I'm good. I'm trying to absorb what you all said.
చెప్పండి, you have to talk. Why? The
Yeah.
reason why I'm asking you to talk is a lot of knowledge is embedded in us. Nobody is there to judge you only. We are not going to tell you, Jayachandra garu, you spoke the best. We are not going to say that. Whatever you say it. We are not going to judge you. But
Yeah.
it helps you to bring out that love within you that
Yeah.
is covered with all this garbage and dust and mud. We all have that problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, so I'm sure he will
So,
jump in with his thoughts. Yeah, yeah, Ravi.
I'll both of you spoke very well. I'll itemize it. What is that we need to work on? One of the things that is bothering all of us is not bothering, but yes, it's bothering, is the basic overall selfishness. I am this body, I am this mind. That is more intense for us. We are loving Baba. In loving Baba, there is no selfishness there. We love Baba. In loving, there is less selfishness. But the proportion we spend for our own eye consciousness satisfaction, if you take these two, satisfying our consciousness and loving Baba, if you take those two aspects, the proportion has to be keep changing. Ultimately, the goal is we need to completely, I love Baba. I need to drop off that I only love Baba. That's it. That should be the goal. But right now, we are suffering with that I. How we drop off that is, first of all, you need to identify our weaknesses. Am I showing angry? Am I greedy? Am I giving too much importance to my ego? These are some of the things that needs to be absolutely addressed. Number one. Number two is what I understand from reading Bhagavad Gita and Baba literature. By the way, Bhagavad Gita, Baba literature, they both are same, not different. There is one sloka in Bhagavad Gita in 17th chapter, I think 14th sloka. What Baba pleases the most is the person who loves him with the knowledge. He is the most favorite for Bhagavan. You call it Baba or Krishna. We love him, but are we loving him with the knowledge, spiritual knowledge? That is the question we have to put ourselves. And we have to constantly assess ourselves every day, spend some time evaluating how was my day? Okay, I did this, I did that. Maybe I showed my anger, I was greedy, I was, lustful. Um, yeah, I loved Baba, but I'm not very good at offering the result to the God. These are some of the things we have to observe every day. By this practice of observing, it helps us to reduce, go closer to Baba's love. Jeva.
Yeah, I think the other thing I'm reminded of from yesterday's reading is the
Mm,
desert and water, right? Which Ashok also referred to. So
mm,
think about it. It's a very, very good analogy. So let's say you're in the middle of a desert and you have to really visualize, kilometers and kilometers of nothing around you. Heat, intense heat, 40, 50 degrees heat. Not even a tree to get shade, and you have been in this situation for, let's say, 24 hours. The only thing that you would need is something to drink and probably some shade. Okay. And at that time, nothing else comes to your mind. So you will not think about, even for a fleeting moment, anything else, right? So maybe initially you'll think, oh, my family is safer. Oh, I wish I didn't come on this trip of mine. Oh, all of that. But at some point, as the situation prolongs, you will reach a point where you don't think of anything but just for the desperation for water. At that time, I mean, that's the point at which we are better off, right? So that's the dissolution of the self identification. Because till then, you're identifying with the self. I could have done this. I would have done this. My family could have helped me. Wish I had a mobile phone. Wish I got that ATB or got home now. Whatever, right? All of those thoughts are all self identification, where you
Yeah.
surrender and you say, Baba, help me. I just need water, right? And you completely become desperate. So to actually process the analogy, keep God out of it. So if you keep God out of it, the analogy will only tell you to focus completely on the desperation for water, right? Intense longing for water. That's the strength of the intensity that one needs towards God, and the love for God, where your self is actually completely dissolved.
Right,
Right.
but
So
what we
that's
also have to remember, when you love Baba, he takes care of all of our needs. He provides us that situation so that we can love him more and more. That's what we have to also get the ability to understand. He provides us. Unless we have done something in our past life that we took away water from somebody or we did a great, grave, bad things, we may be in that situation. But usually, Baba picks us such that we have all those things cleared. Baba lovers, it's not that we don't have any troubles, but even if we have troubles, we have to take them as Baba's prasad. It's not
yeah.
the sweet candy that we get it from the samadhi. It's not the prasad. Actual prasad is the sufferings we get. Whatever we think is the suffering,
Whatever we get, yes.
that is the prasad, real prasad. And how we deal with that, that's what we have to use Baba's help. And he will help us. He will certainly help us. But
Absolutely. So
faith
let's
is needed, what we need. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Faith is important. Surrender, yes, all of them. Let us go back.
Java.
Please feel free to pause when you think something needs discussion. The flames of the fire of love are as soft as rose petals, and the egoism of the false self is as hard as rock. Love cannot bear the hardness of the ego, but love is so powerful that it can melt rock in its fire. So here there's an analogy of rock and fire. The ego is the rock, and the love is fire. And he says fire of love is also soft as rose petals. Continuing, God is indivisible, and therefore ultimately each individual is God. Each individual has to experience this, but it can only be experienced by the grace of the one who personifies God. In him, one finds that God is indivisible, and in him, one finds God in all. When service is rendered to humanity, it must not be for one's self if it is to be called service to God. To achieve union with God, it is our duty to serve the personification of God. Only then is one serving humanity selflessly. To serve selflessly is difficult. If service is rendered to humanity for the sake of name or fame or for any material purpose, it is not selfless. Even the slightest thought of one's self as giving selfless service makes the work selfish, since the self derives pride from the work. Service to humanity must be done in a natural way, and it can be done naturally if it is done as a duty toward God personified. Selfless service to humanity should be rendered in a natural way, and it should be rendered as a duty to our fellow beings. Service to our brothers, sisters, and friends cannot be rendered for the sake of name or to become famous. There should be no question of personal benefit or loss. It should be rendered to please the personification of God, the avatar of the age, Meher Baba. The result of selfless service to humanity is spiritually beneficial. Suppose a poor man is dying of hunger, and out of charity, one gives him food to save his life. One has only given the starving man food, but in exchange, one receives a share of the man's good sanskaras. The poor man is really even at a greater loss, for he has lost a share of his good sanskaras, and the charitable person has gained. The starving people of the world are giving us the opportunity of serving God in them, and at the same time, we would derive spiritual benefit by feeding them. Since sanskaras are invisible to people and they cannot see what are good and bad sanskaras, people continue to allow others to starve. Spiritual benefit is never a matter of calculation. Love is not a calculating process. If one loves, he gives. And if he does not love, he does not give. If the occasion arises for one to help the starving, the moment one thinks that he is obliging and benefiting them, he becomes even more sanskarically bound. Even if the charitable rich give to the poor with the motive of deriving some benefit, spiritual or material, they become more bound. The thought of serving and gaining benefit cannot coexist in the mind to be truly selfless. Selflessly serving humanity for the sake of love is naturally spontaneous without premeditated calculation. I remember one incident around 1964. There was a severe famine in Bihar, a state in India, and as a result, many people were starving to death. We would read about their plight in the newspaper, and I would think that at least we who were with Meher Baba were having one good meal every day, while there were those people who were dying day after day of hunger. I also thought of my helplessness to aid these people. I could not do anything to help them because I was with Meher Baba, but I felt pity for them. One day, I read in the newspaper how one of the richest businessmen of India had opened up free kitchens in many places in Bihar to feed as many of the starving people as possible. I was happy to read this and thought the businessman was actually rendering selfless service to humanity. God had blessed him with wealth, and this one rich man knew how to utilize his wealth to help his fellow beings who were far less fortunate. That same night, I was with Meher Baba and I was massaging his feet. The thought came rushing to my mind. A businessman is rendering selfless service to humanity, and he is actually saving the lives of many people. Suddenly, Baba asked me, "What are you thinking?" And I said, "Nothing, nothing really." Baba gazed at me and repeated the question, and so I replied, "Baba, I was thinking about the terrible plight of those starving in Bihar. It is good that one rich man has opened free kitchens. He is really doing selfless service to humanity." Selfless service, gestured Baba, very much astonished by what I had said. He gestured emphatically. That businessman is doing very selfish service, even though he is doing good work. I was surprised to hear this. Baba explained. Businessman is helping the starving for the sake of his name and fame. He feels pleased with himself when he reads the newspapers about his charitable work and his popularity. He knows that this is the way he will become very popular throughout the country and people will respect him. Though he is very rich, he is doing this at the altar of charity to save on his taxes. So his service is most selfish. Although to all appearances he is doing good work, he is nevertheless bound by this and is not in the least free from the karmic bindings associated with those starving. Baba looked at me and continued, here you are, and you are serving me out of love without any expectation. In me is the whole universe. You are serving the whole universe through serving me for the sake of love. And so you are free from the bindings of karma. That businessman cannot save the whole universe, no matter how many starving people he feeds. It is impossible for him because he is not doing this work for God, but for himself. In spite of the fact that he is doing good work, he is deeply bound by his actions because of his selfish motive. This incident is a guideline for understanding selfless service. Good and bad actions are both binding. Good actions produce gold chains for one to wear, and bad actions produce iron chains. But after all is done, the chains are still there. Work done for God does not result in chains. One is compelled by circumstances to serve husband, wife, children, relatives, and friends. While serving these close ones, if love is there and duty is the motive of one's action, then it is selfless. Selfless service directed towards humanity in general is fulfilling one's duty to God. Therefore, to do anything with the motive of serving God, if the love of God is prevalent and not seeking self interest, it is self service in the eyes of the God man. And at the same time, he is freed by the God man from karmic binding of these. Some very wealthy people become philanthropists. A real philanthropist goes on giving without caring whether he thanks him or not. He does not care for praise or public recognition. He remains indifferent toward those who praise his generosity or criticize his charitable causes. The real philanthropist gives money as much to the destitute who do not thank him as to those who recognize his benevolence. In a similar way, our selfless service to the personification of God and his cause should be rendered. We should remain indifferent toward praise or criticism, gratitude or lack of appreciation. We should serve the personification of God, Meher Baba, with love, knowing that this fulfills our duty toward humanity. So, service is not as simple as you think. So, I'm sure that all of us have indulged in some sort of service or the other at different times. It uh, it suffices to say that you feel very good after it, right? So it's much better than not doing it, right? So you feel elated, you feel a sense of satisfaction. But in that sense of satisfaction, in those responses, there should be no ego. And that is very difficult, right? That's not easy to put in place. So that's what I'd like to
I think it
commend.
comes
And
with
I'd like to,
practice, right?
yeah, yeah, it's more than practice. I think it's uh, continuous right identification of your own identity, right? So the dissolution of the ego. So again, you have to not think of Karthik, not think of Ravi when we are actually doing something. So what is motivating you? You have to dig deeper and deeper and deeper when you want to do a service activity, right? You want to do a service activity, and you should go and see why are you doing this, right?
Yeah.
And then many times you'll figure out that, oh, it's for a lower motive. The only motive is the fact that you recognize that in the other there is a deficiency, and in the other is the same God that is in you, and you are just out of spontaneity wanting to recognize that and helping him. That's all.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
thing I want to, yeah, it brings up to me is, in the outside, a lot of people do the service and with the intention of uh, getting the good karma. So here Baba says that even that good karma is a binding, right? That's what
Mm.
it's
Correct.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golden
Okay.
chains. Yeah.
Golden
Yeah.
chain. Okay.
So I'll give you an example, right? So there are some religions, I'll not try to name them, but there are some religions and even some religious groupings within India that make this process of charity very structured and rigid. Okay. I actually used to like that a lot. Okay. I used to appreciate the fact that there is a definite amount that one has to set aside for the other, for charity, right? And there is there's examples of those communities doing great work, right? And great work selflessly and fairly. But then, off late, I think that that's also difficult to. I mean, there is very clearly a. It's like doing a ritual because it's mechanical, and B. I don't think people practice it with the true depth of what the avatar in that advent told the people for. Her Baba spelled it out very clearly. And I'm sure maybe even the other times Baba was here, he would have spelled it out clearly. But now we have it in white and black. So it's for us to learn and practice it at that level. Okay.
Things,
Um,
Sarvi. Yeah.
yeah,
There are two
so
things, Karthik. Mm.
sure, please go ahead.
One thing is, one way, it is good, I'm going to name it, but it's in Christianity and Islam, there is a condition that they follow. It is written in, they say it's written in Bible and Quran, that 10% of your money has to be donated for the poor, unfortunate people, poor people, basically. And some people do that. Some people do that. Uh, the question is, are they doing it because they want to follow Quran, or are they doing it wholeheartedly with the real knowledge of?
That's the point.
That's the point. But once you start doing it, the mind questions you, right? Hey, I'm giving it. What is the purpose of my giving? If you don't give at all, then there's no point at all. The mind even doesn't even ask, oh, I'm not giving, I'm not giving. Because basically we're all selfish. Why am I giving 10% of my money? That's a huge money. Then you have to answer your own mind. Then it helps you to dig in the knowledge, try to understand. And then if you try to follow that, is a process. There is a process of understanding that knowledge and following it. That certainly helps you to get out of selfishness. Fortunately, money is very important, a commodity for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, by the way, on a lighter note, when I was reading this last page, I was chuckling to myself because I remembered something that I shared with all of you. Did any of you listen to um, the money memorial service that happened on Baba Zoom last week?
No, I did not.
So I was reminded of that because I mean it's so funny. I assure you, you will enjoy it. Please don't miss it. It's a good collection of memories and sharing. So you'll really love it and
Where is
get a
the
better
where is the link?
appreciation.
What is the link?
I shared it on the same group where I shared the announcements. So it's two messages
Okay.
above, I think.
Okay.
Yesterday's
Okay. Sure.
announcement and then before that. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
be able to get that. And in that, Money mentions how, you know, and she's literally chuckling as she says this. So it was an audio that they played. She says,
Mm.
being around Baba was very challenging because to start with, there was no privacy. He knew every thought of yours. So that's exactly what Bhau experienced right now, right? So he was just sitting, massaging the feet, and then something that occurred to him earlier came back in his mind, and Baba pounces on him, saying, "What did you think? You can't hide, so there's no
Mm.
privacy." So imagine living like that, right? So
Yeah.
money just stole my heart, honestly.
Mm.
I'm now I'm tempted to say my favorite Mandali member is Erich. Now I have a it's a choice, right? So I kind of like how she. I mean, the more you read about her, right? So she was there's a huge age gap, and then she was born in the family, and then she decided to give everything up for Baba, and then just lived with Baba the rest of her life. So anyway, I don't want to go off on a
Yeah.
tangent. Let's
Yeah.
go to the next section. Yeah. The
We should
aim.
try to find that Peter Nordin's claiming. I'm sure he's got some source that she represents the Ishvara, that part.
Hmm, okay.
Peter Nordin, in a number of talks, he says, I'm sure he did not make it up. He got the information from some other Mandali
Either
members that Baba
Mandali or
mentioned.
hmm,
Yeah. And I'm sure probably we can find it in the Lord Meher, which I have not found yet. That Baba mentioned that we all know that Mehra represents the creation. She represents the creation, Maya. And Baba gave so much of importance to Mehra. And Baba also gave importance to money. They both played a very major role in his avataric manifestation. Peter Nordin says she represents the unmanifest, unconscious part of the God, and also Ishvara. Yeah, same, right?
uh,
Both are same.
yeah, both are same exactly. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you to define Ishvara so that we are clear, because in the Vedantic world,
Mm.
it can be confusing. Ishvara can mean
Yeah.
Shiva, can
Ishvara,
mean Bhagavan, can mean
yeah.
many things. Yeah,
Ishvara is different from God. God is
yeah,
the only existence that is the beyond state of it. Okay.
correct,
Ishvara confines to within the creation world.
correct.
See, we are going through the false self, right? Same God is going through the false self in this creation world. We are going through Jivatma state. And let's say in God Speaks, Baba talks about Jivatmas as drop soul, right? And Baba talks about the bubble. So we're all bubbles. Bubbles is nothing but sanskaras around the drop. So you are Karthik, I'm Ravi, is because of the bubbles we have created in the past. And those represents the sanskaras. Once the bubble is broken, all the sanskaras are taken away. What is left is the drop. Drop is same as the ocean. Your drop, my drop, everything else is the same as the ocean. This drop still is a drop separate from the ocean. Only when it merges with the ocean, then only it becomes the union. It merges. Until then, drop is a drop. It is pure. That is the qualification we need to merge into the infinite ocean of God. Until that is Ishvara. Ishvara also plays. You are Ishvara, Karthik. We are all Ishvaras. But we don't know that we are Ishvara because we identify with the body and the mind. The bubble we create is the one which makes hide the Ishvara in us. The pure
Yep.
form of God is also Ishvara, but Ishvara is not the God. It's in God's hand. Baba represented that as natural darkness. Natural darkness. Natural
Oh
light is
yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Natural light is
Unconscious
God.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Oh, that
unconscious
is
God.
super, super confusing. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
it is Ishvara. It is
smiling,
Ishvara.
smiling because first reading
When
can
God
be very.
speaks, Baba represents Ishvara. He didn't mention it, but he represented it as the third part that talks about Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, creation, sustenance, and destruction, right? It
Correct.
is the part we play constantly. We are born, we live for some time, and then we are dead. The body is dead. Again, the
Correct.
same process. Flower also does the same thing. Baba also follows the same law. Baba comes as a human, lives for some time as long as the work is needed, and then when his body's work is done, then he leaves. So that's
Yep.
ended. We follow these principles of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. That is Ishvara.
Correct.
It's
Okay.
very well written Baba by Baba in the Infinite Intelligence.
Yeah. So first reference is what you said. It's the daily three roles that each drop soul experiences. The better
Mhm.
reference is infinite intelligence and in God's hand, where the idea of the light is brought up. Infinite intelligence also has reference to the idea of light and darkness. So light and
Right.
darkness is a very old philosophical analogy
Mm.
that's used, and Baba applies it very beautifully to the
Mm.
conscious and unconscious God and the divine
Yeah.
theme
Yeah.
as he explains it. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
continue. The aim of the new life. God is the only big R reality, and all else is illusion. But the cosmic illusion is the medium to develop consciousness and experience God. Illusion, therefore, is necessary because it is the very medium by which to find God. But it generally happens that man forgets to find God through illusion and remains attached to illusion, for he takes illusion as real. Meher Baba gave to man a new life to live. New life, expounded by Meher Baba, is the way to experience God and to become God. In this way, the new life serves to fulfill the purpose of the illusory creation. The new life inspires man to live his life for God so he can become God. It is new because it directs man to remain detached from the allurements of illusion and be attached to the big R reality of God, discarding the old conventional life of the world of illusion. Directly or indirectly, each human being is connected with the whole world through a chain of sanskaras. Unless this chain of sanskaric links is broken into pieces, one cannot become completely detached from the world. Every human being is connected by sanskaras with relatives, friends, and associates. And all the relatives, friends, and associates are connected by sanskaras with so many other people, and those many people are sanskarically connected with so many others. In this way, as one finds the end of the chain, one finds himself connected by sanskaras to all the people in the whole world. Every human being is directly connected with his relatives, friends, and associates by direct sanskaric links. And every man and woman is indirectly connected with all other people in the world by indirect sanskaric links. Directly or indirectly, every person is somehow or in some way connected with every other person. The new life is the way to break one's self free from the binding of samskaras. When an individual becomes free from all his sanskaras, God realized he not only enjoys eternal freedom, but simultaneously, all the people connected with him receive direct or indirect benefit from his liberation. This benefit to everyone is because when all of the individual's sanskaras are wiped out, simultaneously, all the connecting sanskaric links with all others in him are also broken automatically when he becomes God conscious. Thus, when one individual attains God realization, the whole world is always benefited directly or indirectly. Therefore, to lead a direct, dedicated life in love and service to God for the sake of realizing God is the best and highest form of selfless service to humanity. This is because the individual who becomes God realized serves humanity in the best and purest possible way. The individual God, the individual does not even know that he is serving the whole world as he strives to become one with God through the annihilating of his sanskaras. To become free from all sanskaric bindings is the aim of life and is especially the aim of Meher Baba's new life. One who lives the new life helps others in breaking the sanskaric chain. And this help to others is really the purest form of selfless service to the world. If an individual helps others financially or materially, his help cannot make these people free from their sanskaric bindings. However, if an individual strives to love God wholeheartedly and lives only for God, he not only burns away his own sanskaric bindings in the fire of divine love, but also burns up the sanskaras of those who are connected with him. Since the whole world is connected to that individual directly or indirectly, while he burns up his sanskaras out of love, he is achieving the purest expression of selfless service to the world because he's actually helping everyone in the whole world through his own self annihilation. This burning in love is the way Meher Baba's new life is lived. The aim of the new life is to achieve eternal freedom, the God state, through the medium of burning in love and longing for God. The new life bestows selflessness as one lives only for God, and this is the best and purest form of selflessly serving humanity. The individual who leads a dedicated life out of love and service only to God is not aware what benefit he gives to those connected with him through sanskaric links. By not seeing how his service to God benefits the world, the ego finds no way to assert itself. The ultimate outcome of the new life is effacement, to be devoid of the limiting ego. This new life is the best possible life for one to live, for it is aimed at the total benefit of humanity through the total self annihilation of all sanskaric links with the world. New idea. So, the new idea is uh, as you are progressing and actually getting God realization through the practice of the new life, you're actually helping everybody else, and that is the best form of selfless service. Interesting. Any reactions? Any thoughts?
Can you restate that again, please, slowly?
Sure. So,
Mm.
but first he describes new life as the process which helps you to move towards living for God and
Hmm.
gradually get you to God realization. That's
Hmm.
new life. In
Hmm.
that, as you reach God realization, there is an indirect outcome, which is you're helping everybody around you also to move towards God realization. And that is an example of the purest form of selfless service. Because A, you're not expecting anything, and B, you're giving something that's most special, right? So that is the new idea that I found here.
Yeah. The new
Yeah.
life. Yeah, as you said, in olden life, we never cared about Baba or anything. We used to be selfish. We used to do the things only for our own pleasure. But since our Baba implanted that seed in us, we started loving Baba. As the years
Yeah.
pass by loving Baba, our whole life is changing compared to how we were before. That is new life. Yeah, applying the
Yeah.
new life for us.
Hey, the bonus also is a new form of selfless service, which is helping everybody. Firstly, the idea that you are linked sanskarically to everybody in the world that I can relate to, right? So you're more related to people around you, but you're indirectly related to everybody sanskarically simply because everybody is you, right? So I agree.
Hmm.
But the idea that your God realization actually is a point which helps others because you also help them and you help them move towards the process is good. And I think, I mean, it's not directly relevant to this, but it's also as simple as let's say you start loving Baba. Before that, you first get into questioning your life. Who am I? Got into spirituality and all that, right? Just those steps also, forget God realization. Just your journey of getting closer to God and starting to love God and moving away from the false values is also inspirational, I'm sure, to people around you. But the ultimate is when you reach God realization, you can actually help everybody, right? So that's the point he's making. And of course, we know that when you're God realized and you finish the four journeys and you're operating in the third journey as perfect master, obviously your only work is helping others. You're helping everyone and you're helping them only with one purpose, helping them for getting closer to God. So, okay, let's continue. The push toward realization. In the domain of truth, there is oneness, and in the domain of illusion, there is duality. And this duality turns into multiplicity. The whole domain of illusion is divided into three spheres of multiple existence. Those multiple existences are called worlds. And in these worlds, there exist innumerable beings and states of consciousness. The gross world is the sphere of matter, of material beings, and of the states of consciousness that evolve out of matter. The subtle world is the sphere of energy, subtle beings, angels, and states of consciousness that develop out of energy. The mental world is the sphere of mind, mental beings, archangels, and states of consciousness that develop out of mind. In the gross sphere of matter, there are seven stages of evolving consciousness that arise out of matter: stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, animal, and human. At the human level, consciousness of matter is fully developed and no further evolution of consciousness is required. The human form is the last and so the highest form in the evolution of consciousness in the sphere of matter. The purpose behind the creation is to attain the consciousness of God, and to achieve this purpose, evolution culminates in a human form. And the process of involution then has to rise. But the gross impressions of matter remain attached to the human consciousness, and unless the grossness of the impressions is wiped away, the inner process of involution toward the realization of God is not possible. The evolution of consciousness in the sphere of matter is the outer journey of collective consciousness, and the involution of consciousness is the inner journey of individualized consciousness. The inner journey does not begin until the grossness of the impressions is wiped away. The process of evolution of consciousness is primarily
Karthik,
natural. Yeah,
Karthik, can
sure.
you hang on 1 second? Seems to be a
Sure,
very
sure,
important point here. Something
sure.
applies to our, grossness. So we need to understand, right, what is grossness and how to get out of this.
So it's the way I get it, and maybe I welcome others to comment as well. So it's a progression. So you're
Mm,
moving from the gross to the subtle to finally the mental, and
mm,
the still your lower impressions are not sorted. You cannot go to the higher impression, the higher sanskaras. I mean, impressions, sanskaras,
mm,
whichever word. So, and when you're ready for the next stage, it means that your grosser sanskaras no longer impact you. Means what? You've exhausted them. You've exhausted them, and but you still have other sanskaras, and those are subtler,
mm, mm.
and
Yeah,
that's what. And then when your grosser ones are wiped away is when you can get to the next journey, which here he's referring as inner journey. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So first of all, we have to understand, what is my character? How is it? Why is it in grossness? What is grossness? How am I reacting? Grossness is I have thoughts that are very gross, and I also react for the gross reactions. That I have to understand first. If somebody says, "Hey, you're an idiot," I immediately, or you're a pig, then I immediately want to say, "Hey, you're a pig too." I want to be equal or more aggressive than that. But I think that is more grossness. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't need to react if somebody calls me a pig or something. I don't equally react to that situation. That is some sort of grossness. Uh,
Oh, so okay. Now I think I get what you're saying. Are you kind of semantically getting confused with the gross nature of something, like in
yeah,
the English
we have to
usage of
understand,
gross?
right?
I don't think that's the meaning here. I think here it's the meaning of something being more matter laden and less matter laden. Gross uh, is, so let me use this one, right? The first one, where he comes up with a word. The gross world is the sphere of matter or material beings and so on. So the more gross is, the more you are in the gross world, it's more grossness. That's all he's saying, I think. That's my
Because I
understanding.
read somewhere the reason why humans reincarnate is because of the grossness. Because if you separate the sanskaras to natural and non-natural sanskaras, because of non-natural sanskaras, people reincarnate.
Correct.
If we
Correct.
can
Even
somehow control the non-natural sanskaras, then you will enter into the involution plane. That's what I understand,
correct.
right?
Correct.
So, what is gross sanskaras? Natural sanskaras, what are natural sanskaras? If we can understand that. Whatever the animal sanskaras we have, those are all, I'm hungry. So, what does an animal do? Okay, a dog, let's say. The dog, very common household dog, right? We have a dog. When it's hungry, it likes to eat. When it's thirsty, it tries to drink. When it's sleepy, which we also do. When we are hungry, we eat. When we are thirsty, we eat. Uh, when we sleep, basic things what we do. When we are asleep, we sleep. And when we are awake, we are awake. Second thing. The third thing is animals are all worried about the security. So we're also worried about the security. We have houses. We live in houses. Either you call it weather variations or security or privacy, whatever you call it, we live in four walls. That's our home. That's the security. And reproduction, we all do the reproduction, whoever is married. And anything else you think of as animal sanskaras? That's it, right? Basically,
Yeah, I
protection,
think that's it.
security,
Yeah.
hunger, sleep.
And then some basic love for the small,
Yeah,
the dear, the definition of family, right? Love for
yeah,
them,
yeah. Natural
attachment
mother
towards
and
them, all of
father
that.
and yeah,
Exactly.
mother is
Yeah.
primary and it takes care of the babies. When they are independent, they're separate. And in some species, father also takes protection, and that's what we do too. Kind
Correct.
of thing. Those are all natural sanskaras, and in discourses we learn natural sanskaras will be erased in the involution plane by the grace of a guru.
Correct.
So the reincarnation is only due to the unnatural sanskaras. See, when a dog is hungry, it eats whatever you give, it eats. If it is pertaining to the dog eating material, for example, you know.
Correct.
Um, but we want every day different meal. We cannot eat the same meal every day. One day we want dal and rice, one day we want sambar, one day we want pizza, one day we want whatever, chapati. I think those are all non-natural sanskaras. I think. Variety, we need variety. Our attitude, hey, my ego is more important than your ego, is all non-natural.
Unnatural. Yeah.
Comparisons. Uh, but anger is also, but animals don't show anger unnecessarily. Only when it is aggravated, they show. But humans also, when aggravated, show anger, weaknesses, all those things. So coming back to our point here, if you can read the two paragraphs again, that would be great.
Yeah,
It'll.
we can do that. Yeah. Let's read the gross part again.
Mm,
So this is where he starts with gross. So I'll start again. In the
mm,
gross sphere of matter, there are seven stages of evolving consciousness that arise out of matter: stone, metal,
evolution.
vegetable, worm, fish, bird, animal, and human evolution.
Mm,
At the human level, consciousness of matter is fully developed, and no further evolution of consciousness is required. The human form is
mm,
the last and so the highest form in the evolution of consciousness in the sphere of matter.
mm,
The purpose behind the creation is to attain the consciousness of God, and to achieve this purpose, evolution culminates in the human form, and the process of involution then has to arise. But the gross impressions of matter remain attached to the human consciousness, and unless the grossness of the impressions is wiped away, the inner process of involution toward the realization of God is not possible. Let me continue. The evolution of consciousness in the sphere of matter is the outer journey of collective consciousness, and the involution of consciousness is the inner journey of individualized consciousness. The inner journey does not begin until the grossness of the impressions is wiped away. Let's hope he explains this in the next one. Yes, the process of the evolution of consciousness is primarily natural from stone form through the animal form, but individual consciousness becomes unnatural in the human form because human beings become involved in the things of the world not required to serve the purpose of involution. So I think that answers your question. All we had to do was read one more line. Okay. Because human beings become involved in the things of the world that serve the process of involution. Forms at the seven stages of evolution enter new forms of the same evolved kingdom naturally. For instance, Worms evolved naturally into insects, and insects evolved naturally into reptiles. However, one evolving form cannot enter into another higher kingdom of evolution without the direct push of the avatar. For example, if an animal form of a dog or ape completes the experience of the animal stage and it is ready to enter into the human form, that dog or ape cannot do so without the inner push of the avatar. When the avatar comes into the universe, he raises the consciousness of every stage of creation to a certain degree required for the collective progress of consciousness from the lowest level of stones to the highest level of human beings. In this manner, by pushing new forms into higher stages of evolving consciousness, the process of the entire evolution of the universe gains new momentum and shape. Make sense? So the push is universal. The the grossness is linked to the the false identification, right? So we falsely identify with things that are not important and increase our sanskaras, and that helps us. That increases the grossness or the unnaturalness of the sanskaras and keeps us pulled down from the inner journey. So, so-called
See
inner
what
journey,
I
which he used in the previous paragraph.
see what I grasp from that line highlighted you did is the soul has a goal, right? Our soul, our
Yes,
consciousness has a goal. The goal is to become combined with its full consciousness. It's only half part, right? Half part or unconscious part of it. Unconscious part of the God needs to become one with the conscious part of the God. Then only it's complete. Instead of that, we're interested in music, we're interested in cricket, we're interested in other things other than the soul's journey, helping the soul to go its journey. That is where we get the non-natural
distraction.
sanskaras.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
till the point of the human form, you don't have a choice. Like, I mean,
I don't have choice. It's
why? Because
automatic.
you can't get,
Mm.
yeah, you don't have the level of consciousness that's required to start thinking about God. So union with
Yeah,
God
yeah,
to chhod do. So
yeah,
till that, it's only Darwin.
yeah.
So Darwin's evolution is just that, right? So it's just your only goal is get to human form
Mm.
when you're an animal.
Yeah.
After that, this highlighted line, because human beings become involved in the world, in the things of the world not required, we continue in this process of births, rebirths. Okay,
So I have something. So regarding
sure.
the gross impressions, if some advanced souls are in like second plane or third plane, um, so that means their gross impressions are completely wiped off, though they have the gross form.
Correct.
Correct?
So Baba has, yes, yeah, Baba has explained this at great length. So he says that they are using the body. You're absolutely right. They are in the gross form, but they are not affected, and their actions don't bind them on the gross plane. So, in effect, what you said is right. They don't have gross samskaras, and they are operating at subtle samskaras. They are, I mean, not operating. They still have subtle samskaras, but they are
Okay.
eating, they are drinking, they are doing all the physical things that we would expect, or we see them as normal human beings, but they
Okay.
are in the subtle plane,
So their gross impressions were not
are wiped out.
be
Yeah,
come
are
into in
exhausted.
place. Okay. Makes
Correct.
sense. Thank you.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
one thing, Jayachandra Garu, is if you are reading God Speaks, we need to be very clear about these terms. Gross body means not physical body. Gross sanskaras is called, Baba calls it gross body. If you have subtle sanskaras, Baba calls it subtle body. If you have mental sanskaras, you have mental body. Because Baba also calls form. Form means physical form. Body means a set of sanskaras. But in other books, he is different. He uses different language. So we have to be very clear in our understanding. Gross body doesn't mean physical body. Gross body means gross sanskaras. That clarity we should have to understand where Baba is talking about gross body and form. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we get confused with this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
struggled a lot
Good
for a
point.
long time. I spoke to a lot of people, but I think Baba helped me actually to understand this. Because the reason why I had the question was, remember Muhammad, Must Muhammad? Some of you
Hmm.
might have seen in 2003, he passed away. He was in mental plane, fifth plane, Baba said. Baba pushed him into the fifth plane. I think they found him in the three and a half plane, and Baba pushed him to fifth plane. So, but he has a physical body, but he's in a mental plane, but he's not conscious about gross body. People used to feed him, and people used to help him to go to party and bath and everything. He was not able to do gross actions like what we do, eating, taking bath, and all those things. People used to help him with that. So he has mental body. That means he also has physical body and mental body. He has only mental sanskaras. That's how I started thinking.
So that
What about
means in the grass world, do they need help? Are they always,
no,
or
no,
they
we don't
can?
Yeah,
need help, right?
that's
Let's say we are in grass world. I can only talk for
no, no,
myself.
no.
I don't know
Hold on,
Jay.
hold on. I understand Jay's question, and I think we should clarify that. So, in the specific example Ravi just brought up, it is an example of a state of a soul called as mast. Okay, unique to Baba's ontology, and must is a very specifically defined state of mind, state of soul. Okay, I shouldn't use the word mind, right? So there, the must is in the sixth plane, and he was not able to. I mean, he was not able to. He was not bothered about the gross body, the physical body, right? Whereas to go back to what you were asking earlier, there might be people like saints who are in sixth plane or fifth plane or in their involution journey, where they have exhausted their gross sanskaras, but they are eating, they are normally walking, they are doing all the stuff, right? So their gross body, they are no longer bound by gross sanskaras. That's all. Do they
Yeah,
have?
makes sense.
Do they eat food? Do they enjoy food? Yes, there have been perfect masters that had liking for certain foods. They used to eat that. Must Muhammad was a specific example of a specific type of soul which had problems with the physical body. He didn't care. A lot of musts are like that. They didn't care about the physical form, and they used to defecate anywhere, eat anything, and so on and so forth. So they are a different type of soul. That's all I wanted to point out.
Yeah,
See, that
thank you.
brings up another comment is, see, Baba made Mast Muhammad to be must. He didn't bring him back to normal consciousness because so that we can see him. For example, how does a fifth plane must looks like? How does a sixth plane person looks like? All these questions, our mind pops up. So that's why Baba, I think he left him as a must, not to be. But if you look at Ivy Jews, Baba said she's in the sixth plane. And he used to be like any of us, asking questions,
Exactly.
Baba. And she was the head of Sufi in Walnut Creek. She had a husband and a daughter, very normal life, eating food and everything. See, what I understand from what's that book called? Uh, Evolution, not Evolution. The new book that was released 4 years ago.
The two of them,
Premashram Boys. He lectures to
uh,
Premashram Boys.
Tiffin, no, the
No,
Tiffin
not even
lectures or
lecture.
the other one. The yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm not able
Not
to
evolution.
remember the name, but
Anyway, there
I
is a
couldn't
book
find
there.
anything. Yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
that book consists of Baba's talks to Premashram boys. And there, Baba gave a wonderful picture. Uh, there is a very profound picture. I think I'm going to send it in the WhatsApp. Your life is totally different if you have a guru versus no guru. You may be God living. For us, Meher Baba is our guru. He acts like a guru. If you are loving guru, he blindfolds you and takes you all the way to the seventh plane without any botheration of experiencing any of the planes. You may experience, may not experience, but you feel you are in a gross plane. He will take you all the way to the seventh plane. But whereas those people who don't have a guru, but they are God intoxicated, they go through very hard life of 100 millions of years, maybe millions of years of stuck in the involution plane. That is where Baba did a lot of push to these mus to send to the higher planes. So the difference changes if you have a guru versus no guru. So
So,
all these musts don't have a guru. That's why they are enjoying in their heavens. Every plane has got heavens, and those are not spiritual. Those are all like if you are go to a bar and enjoy like a dance and intoxicated with alcohol, that is like that. That's not a God state. They think they are God realized. Okay, I don't know where I'm getting into,
I
but
know.
yeah, yeah.
Your
No,
analogy is not, yeah, yeah.
so if the
Uh,
Mast Muhammad is in the Mast state, and IV Deuce was in sixth plane, but very normal conscious.
yeah. Thanks for giving that example
Yeah,
itself. So that's the point I wanted to make. But I have a follow-up question. So are you sure of what you just said, which is musts actually are in the must state and generally don't have a guru?
yeah, they don't
Or
have a guru. That's
oh,
why they're
okay.
lost.
So they
That's
have
why they
only
are.
love for God and they don't have a guru, and that's where Baba. Okay,
Yeah.
that kind of
See,
that's an interesting.
if you can give me permission to project my
You can do it directly. Yeah, you just hit share,
picture here.
and it'll stop
Let
me.
me
Yeah, it'll stop my share. Yeah, go
let
ahead.
me open my figure. I have it in the pictures. Okay. Let me open my beautiful picture. Where is my beautiful picture?
So the must is the term only in the Baba's literature, right? It came.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
No,
yes.
only.
Sufi literature.
Sufi literature.
Huh,
Oh,
correct, correct, correct. Sufi literature
Oh,
also, but the most definitive literature available is only in Baba. And the term is unique, right? So
yeah.
Sufi and Baba. That's it.
okay, how do I?
Just look for the share button, which should be next to your mic, camera, mic, and then a share button.
Oh, share. Okay, screen, right? No, no, not your screen. Can you see my screen?
Something coming up.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's loading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the greatest picture. So here, if you go leftmost bottom, outer world, gross world. Okay, from there we evolve into involution plane, right? This is all involution plane. And here there is a turn here, turning. Can you see the turning? The bottom leftmost, and it's written traveling with a guru. Can you see that? Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here on the left side, arrow upwards is traveling without a guru. So all the people who are these are all okay. These are all planes. First plane, second plane, third plane, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then seventh plane. Okay, planes are like it's explained in the that book are like railway stations. You go from one station to the other station. If you are under the guidance of Guru, You hold to Baba's Daman, he will hold your hand much more tightly. You hold him tightly, he will hold you. He will not by himself hold you. You have to hold him. You have to love him. You have to hold on to his Dharma. Then he will take you from first plane to all these planes in a short time, like a super fast train. Otherwise, if you don't have a guru, but you're still God intoxicated, all these are all heavens. Baba call it heavens, connected with each plane.
So that is the path
See,
maths are going.
yes, and
Okay.
they enter into the bylanes. This is the main lane, and these are called bylanes. Suppose somebody in the second plane took a into the city. You're, let's say you're from Hyderabad. Hyderabad station is the second plane, but you want to enjoy the city, you go out. And then you hear the second plane, you have Swarg and Nark. That is where all the gross plane people go there to experience Swarg and Nark. But once they finish the Swarg and Nark periods, because of the gross sanskaras, they come back to the normal conscious, normal world. Whereas the person in the second plane with the subtle consciousness, the subtle sanskaras, let's say he went into this Swarg place. You only go to, nobody wants to go to Nark, right? Who only wants to go to Swarg. Enjoying the Swarg, let's say he started finding a guru and please, guru, please help me. Then they will go back into the second plane and they go straight. If they don't care, then they will stuck here. Baba avatar like Baba comes and helps them, push them back into, push them straight.
Very
In
interesting. Thanks for sharing.
every
I've
plane has got a heaven. We have to be very, very careful not to leave Baba's daman. Baba said, "Hold me with the both hands." He is our guru. He is our guide. Jai.
Ravi, this is from what source, and can you put it into the
Yeah,
telling
that's the
them?
book. Let me remember. Let me get the book. Creation and its causes. Creation and its.
Yeah, that's was thought coming to
Recently,
my mind as well. Yeah.
Creation and its causes. Very beautiful book. Lot of stuff that was not explained in God's speech is explained. One must read that. Lectures to Premashram boys. Very simple language, very profound. The whole universe we need to know. And recently, I saw a message, very profound. I think people who are getting older like me, uh, Mehra used to complain to Baba, Baba, I'm forgetting this, I'm forgetting that. You know what? You know what Baba said? Oh, it doesn't matter whatever you forget or remember. Don't always remember me. That is the most important.
So
I
the
thought that's
paper
very profound.
so the image which you shown right now. So the guru, that guru is can be only avatar, or that guru can be the
Any
Sadguru also.
perfect master. Guru can be
Any
avatar or
perfect
perfect
master.
master.
Any perfect
Yeah.
master. So
Yeah.
perfect master, is it like a shortcut when we come up with the contact with the avatar or Sadguru? He just given us the shortcut. Otherwise, that is the actual route. But when you come to the Sadguru or avatar, he showed you the shortcuts. That's what,
Yeah.
can we say like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. That's
No,
shortcut. That's
no,
what he's
let's
talking about.
see. There's only Sadgurus and avatars. Okay, there's only. I mean, the only ones that can really help. You can have anyone as your mentor. Okay. But when we are using the word Sadguru and uh, perfect, I mean, Sadguru and Avatar in the context of what you are asking and what Raviji is saying, it's very specific roles. There are only limited people and they are in charge of the universe, right? So those
Yeah, some
people
more, Karthik.
can help you.
There are some
Yeah,
more. Jivan Muktas also have the ability to give God realization to a number of
to
people.
one, to number of people. Yeah. So, but
Usual Jivan Muktas give one, but there are some, it seems, they give a lot more, but they don't have a circle. It's there in God Speaks. There are two types of Jivan Muktas. One type gives God relation to one person at most, but they don't have a duty. But the other Jivan Mukta can give God relations to a number of people, it seems.
give you the
So,
proof for that,
yeah.
right? So,
Huh?
wait, Ashish, I'll give you the proof for that, right? So, why do you need a perfect master? Right? Baba
Mhm.
says very clearly, um, I'm in beams now. Okay. Yeah, here. The reason is simple. I'm reading from here. Okay. The reason is simple. God realization implies two things. I'm just adding two things, but actually says God realization implies inner poise as well as adequate adjustment with the universe, which is the shadow of God along with everything it contains. The first now these are the this is the only way you can make progress. Okay, God realization implies inner poise as well as adequate adjustment with the universe. Just stay with that statement. Okay, now go to the next state, next highlighted one here. With regard to those souls who attain God realization subsequently, you and me. Okay, because the previous paragraph is
Mhm.
about Baba.
Yeah.
The two requirements stand, that is, inner poise and adequate adjustment with everything in the universe, two conditions. There is one great difference. For example, for the soul who's second in attaining God realization, or 1 millionth, like you and me, one of the important factors in his spiritual environment is the existence of a human God realized soul. That is already around us in our
Mm,
environment. Okay.
yeah.
Hence, while adjusting himself with everything in the universe, this second candidate, you and me, for God realization, is confronted with the problem of adjusting himself to the first master or God realized soul, who, as we have seen, is indistinguishable from the eternal avatar. So,
Yeah.
getting the right relationship with the Sadguru is your necessary condition for progressing towards God realization.
Yeah. So the souls which did some evolution, right? We saw that
Mhm.
figure. One is the
Mm,
with the avatar or with the Sadguru with the master. Another is the normal way, right?
mm.
Still they're evolving. But at a
Without Guru.
certain level,
Correct.
they might have got that much of knowledge, right? Because still they are first phase or second stage, right? They could have get some
Mm,
that
mm,
kind of knowledge that yeah, for my evolution, I need someone, I need a perfect master. But still, I see that
mm,
image that those were not in the connection with the Sadguru or Avatar, and they do it by themselves, right? Slowly.
mm,
So
mm,
how come it's like uh, because I feel this is my personal interpretation because when they are evolving, they must get some kind of that
mm.
kind of knowledge that they need someone to do progress. So is, means what I feel
So,
there is a certain point at the beginning itself. Everyone might be realizing they need a spiritual master. That's what my point is. Not at the
yeah, I think
maybe
those are
very
rare
end.
souls. Those are rare souls that don't realize that because of their sanskaras, and
Yes,
they struggle
yes,
for longer. But the world, I mean, the perfect masters and avatars are very compassionate. So they are looking out for such souls. Baba,
yes.
let's remember wayfarers, right? Why did Baba do so much? It was just to help these souls. And I'm so glad you pointed this out, Ravi, that there is no guru. So he's helping those without a guru. And he traveled the whole of the subcontinent so many times with so much struggle just to to help them in person, right?
Mm,
Very interesting session. And
mm,
if you noticed, I thought we will pause at that point and continue afterwards. So I've already marked it out. So, any other thoughts before maybe we can wrap up for today and then pick up in the coming week?
Yeah.
Very,
Jai
very
Baba.
profound session. Very profound session today.
Yes,
lot of
thank you
important
all
stuff.
for
Yeah,
all the beautiful, all the beautiful interventions.
discussions we had. Yeah, Baba creates this.
Yes, yes, yes.
Jay Baba, as a last remark, I would like to tell uh, Jay Chandraji and Ashish that please listen to the recordings of all the discussions of God Speaks Discourses and many other books on with the Meher Baba channel. That will give you many more insights, and it's a whole big resource, an ocean of knowledge. Jay Baba.
Yeah,
And I
Jai
think
Baba.
I was just thinking of another thing. Please also subscribe. Please also promote, because I know I never talk about the recording and the channel at all. But then off late, I've been thinking that maybe we should also be mentioning those viewers who, there are a few, by the way. There are a few regular ones that keep listening to this, and they seem to like the content because there are comments that I see. So, a big Jai Baba to all of those, and a request to all of us to, at a minimum, subscribe, because subscription tells the algorithm that this is of interest to somebody. And second, share it. Like Ashok ji rightly intervened, uh, in your groups and in wherever somebody is looking for something, please talk about them so that it reaches more and more people with, which is what the intention of recording itself is, right? The intention of putting it together is to reach it to many people. And we behave like we are not even recording, we are not putting it up on a channel, right? And we never talk about it. So thanks, Ashok ji, for bringing it up. I had
Nay,
this thought for the
yeah.
last 2 3 weeks, saying we should make it, we should refer to that recorded viewer as well and keep him as part of the conversation. So here's a big Jai Baba to all of those who are joining us after we have done this live, and keep it coming.
Yes, Karthik, also to acknowledge the tremendous amount of effort which you have put in, and I can only tell you that whenever it's possible, I am sharing with people, and they are there listening as well.
Sure. Very nice.
Jay Baba.
Okay. Jai Baba, everybody. And
Jai Baba.
we will catch up
Jai
again
Baba.
next
Jai Baba.
Saturday and Sunday. Jai Baba. Thank you.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba, everyone.
Jai Baba. Thank you.